Okay, they flipped the neck, and I took all the chains off, and this thing is just a swamp, you know. There's so much dirt, and of course this is a scrap yard. That's where they use these machines. And on the right you see some very old ones, like all beat up, you know. And the owner came out, he says, I've been buying these machines, I forgot what he said, 96 or something, since 1996. Okay, so now I just want to find the email I sent to the broker about the damage, because this guy's not gonna be happy when he's gonna see broken hose. Okay, arrived at the border. Who's custom broker? Port paperwork loaded. Oh, damages. I found it. Perfect. So yeah, and after that we're gonna sign. Where's my paperwork? Okay, we're gonna sign the paperwork and send it pretty much immediately to the broker, so he can initiate a wire transfer. We agreed on kind of a quick pay, right, since I cannot factor him. So he's doing a quick pay, and I'm giving him a discount, a few percentage points, same way I'm doing with my factoring company. And they helped me with the neck, right? So now my neck is like 86 inches. I went with the shortest kingpin position because I have dual position on my standard 101 neck. So I greased that kingpin that's been sitting there forever and never used, and sometimes they're very hard to put in, you know. And so I sprayed grease in that receptacle hole and then over the kingpin, put it in, because that kingpin, it just sits there. And sometimes can be dangerous when you hook up. You can push it out, so you gotta check that it's not raised, you know, otherwise it's not gonna lock properly. And like I went to from the gate, I went to the left, and then I just backed in here. The guy says, yeah, just back to that pile of dirt over there. So of course I had to block my booster and raise my lift axle. So I was backing on 6 axles. No, wait. Yeah, 6. On 6 axles, and this machine is so heavy. So I put some boards in the front. Like I have those 4 boards. Like they're Home Depot, like very weak ones, but they'll be enough. They'll add some protection, because I saw that the boards in the front, right off the ramp, they started bending. But I said, guys, I need a plate. You know, this is a scrapyard, right? I said, can you get me like a, I don't know, 5-10 millimeter steel plate, just put it in front of tires, because I said I know from experience when you load, for some reason it's much easier, but when you offload, it's always breaking the boards. Anyway, let me go find this guy. And what's the time now? Time now is basically 1:30. And I got up at like 5 o'clock, and my pilot Jeff showed up at 6, and we started rolling at 6:30. So it took us 3 hours. 3 hours, I'm not kidding you, to do 142 kilometers. Actually, it was more, because we had a couple of detours. So probably 100 miles. 100 miles. Just like on day 1, we were averaging 30 miles an hour. Lots of hills in there. And I was at the border, and the night before I did my Peace Bridge, you know, that truck TLP. Everything was approved. And when I showed up at the border, Jeff left me at the duty-free there in Buffalo, and the pickup truck showed up from Bridge Authority. I showed them my reference number for the TLP, you know, the truckload program for the bridge. And they charged me. I didn't even look at the receipt when I crossed the bridge, and I went through customs, no problems. The guy just asked me how long in the States, did you buy or receive anything, any liquor, any weapons. I said nothing. And Just drove to that Bridge Authority building before the toll. She took my card beforehand, and I think it's 200 bucks, because it was, oh, it was before 12. Before 12, I think it's $100 US, or 160 Canadian. And that's it. Then went through the toll there. My Easy Pass works there, right? I think it was 40 bucks or something, or 35 bucks. And then I stopped there for half an hour because didn't want to go through that scale. There's a new scale right after the border. Before it was like a temporary, you know, just a pull out, and there was a guy sitting there in an MTO pickup truck. But now they even erected a building there, you know, like there's a small building, like a quick assembly building. And I checked Trucker Path, it says open, and I'm like, screw this, you know. So 20 minutes later it says monitored but not open. And by monitored, it means that there's police in there, but the scale is closed. So I rolled by. One guy was busy writing tickets for a dry van, and another guy was eating donuts in his pickup truck. So there are 2 police officers in there. So one didn't want to work, one was hard at work. He looked at me very hard, but let it slide. He probably didn't know what this machine is. So anyway, and then the scale was open on 407, but on the other side. So I'm gonna go through it when I'm empty. And of course I'm longer than 75 feet, but my permit, my annual Ontario permit, allows me to run empty up to 32 meters or 105 feet in length, as long as I have my signs and flags. And I have my signs in the back and flags. By the way, speaking about flags, some idiot stole 2 flags. I don't understand this. I don't think they would fall off because they're, you know, I had 4 brand new flags that Alan from Casway gave me, right, with magnets. The magnets are there, on the front. The 2 magnets are there. The flags are gone. But actually, if somebody stole them, why would they not take the magnets? Because those magnets are expensive. Maybe they did fall off, but kind of like weird, because on the same side of the machine, on the front, in the back, 2 flags, 2 magnets. So I lost 2 flags. So maybe I'm gonna jump into my Charger and head back to the border and look for the flags on the shoulder. I haven't decided yet, but the plan is to go to a hotel till Monday and maybe post my truck on the load board as available for Monday. And some lady emailed me, remember I did that what do you call it, pipe layer, that 594 pipe layer. Oh, they're ready to ship another one. I said, really? I'll pass, you know. I don't want to go to Alberta, because it's from US to Alberta again. Remember that crazy trip? Because over there it's still very cold. It can be lots of snow, and pretty soon I'm positive they're introducing some spring weight restrictions, and that pipe lay is like 94,000 pounds, you know, less heavy than this machine, but still I just don't want to spend again like 6,000-8,000 bucks on fuel, you know, because fuel now is so expensive. Speaking about fuel, Pilot, the greedy Pilot in Fort Erie, I passed, didn't stop. $1.75 Canadian per liter. On the US side, yesterday I fueled in Dansville at $4.40 a gallon US at quick fill. It was like $4.43, but I have a quick fill bonus card, so I got 3 cents more. So basically I dropped the trailer at the TA, it was $4.55, so I dropped the trailer, so I saved like 50 bucks. Because I bought 70 gallons. I didn't want to fill up both tanks because that was heavy. So I just filled up enough to get me to Cansaneo here. And then as we were driving with Jeff, I was, you know, always curious. Of course, I'm always curious about diesel prices. The best one I saw in Buffalo at Jim's Truck Plaza was 4.15, $4.15 a gallon US. That's the best I've seen so far. So that's the reality. And a friend of mine, the broker from Alberta, said everybody's sending him notices about raising prices because of fuel. 7% here, 8% there. He says he was trying to ship an LTL, which a year ago people were ready to do it for 800 Canadian, you know, like LTL, something small, like a local run. Now they want 2,000 Canadian, so they want 3 times more. And when he asked the guy why, he said, well, because I bought a Volvo 3-axle, like regular truck, Volvo, brand new. It was 250,000 Canadian. And he says, then I bought another one 2 months later. Now it's 285,000 Canadian. So he says, I have to raise prices. Which brings me to an interesting point, that my truck is worth its weight in gold. 4 axles, right? Big tire, big 20,000 steer, 20,000 pusher, 46 tandem, 18 speed, PTO, full locks, 605 horsepower original from the factory rating, Cummins, 2050 torque, big slider on the back, 72-inch 5th wheel slider. Man, so if that truck, some cheap ass Volvo, is 285 Canadian, so this should be 325. So when it's time to sell, I think I'll be asking the same price I paid for it, 237,000 Canadian. All right, let me go find the guy. Maybe I'll take my paperwork and get him to sign it. All right, I'll be back. Stay tuned. I parked the truck like this so you guys can watch. Hold on, let me clean the window for you. How's that? Does that make you happy? All right. Let's go grab some donuts or some popcorn. Sit tight. Our programming will be right back. That's how it's done, boys and girls. Yeah, I went inside. I was not comfortable just driving without a spotter, so I went in and that guy was really nice, and I said, please stop me when the rear wheels are off the boards, because see, I decided not to wait for that steel plate because it didn't look like it was coming anytime before Christmas 2025, and so I just rearranged my boards. And then you saw me, I took the rear ones, put them in the front, and this machine goes real easy, you know. And it's funny, you don't even feel. This guy's telling me your front axle is on 4x4, and I'm like, what? It already went up on the 4x4. You don't feel anything. That machine is so smooth. The only issue is that because I turned the cab, now all the controls became counterintuitive. You know, the arrow on the screen that shows forward is now back. Like, to go forward I had to click the back arrow, and all the controls, the steering stopped working because now it was opposite, because now the rear axle was steering, right, not the front. So you see, this machine, like some people were saying, does it have crab walk? No, this thing has the steer gear only on front, which is now in the rear. But you see, also I was a bit scared when I was turning it on the trailer, because there were cases, I know from talking to other people, when the machine can just tilt, you know, and so that's why I raised the stick like that, pretty much 90 degrees, to prevent the machine from going sideways on me, you know, when I was spinning the house. But all in all, but man, it's such a monster, you know. I look at it, I look at that boom now, at the stick, it's much taller than the building itself. Such a big machine, man. All right, that's it. So now I just have to head over to the trailer and pack all my boards, hide the chains, and hook up to the trailer. And so now this time I can leave the truck, I think, hooked up to the trailer, because now my neck is so short. So it's cool. And then we'll go grab a lunch, celebrate. But before that I have to send all the paperwork to the broker, of course. I'm gonna do that as soon as I leave the yard. I'll stop on the shoulder and send them everything, because they're in Oregon, 3 hours back. So that's what's happening. All right, thank you.